We are going to talk about a movie.
This is gonna be a disaster.
It was one of the best movies of the year.
It's gonna go so well. Probably one of the last movies I would ever want to see in a theater.
Hello and welcome to 10 Years On. I'm your host, Jacob Blunden, and this week we're on lucky episode 13.
Oh.
April the 2nd, 2010, where we're going to talk about three films: The Last Song, Clash of the Titans, and Why Did I Get Married Too? But before we get into those, I would like to introduce my co-host, Taylor Robinson. How are you?
Life's been interesting lately. We're filming this far ahead of when we're going to release this, so this is going to probably sound a little weird, but life has been... The world is shutting down, essentially. It's been a little rough, I'm not going to lie, trying to deal with everything going on lately. So hopefully this will give us a little bit of time to just talk about some shitty movies instead of dealing with the shitty world.
Basically. And I'm also joined by my wonderful panelists, Nick and Peter. How are you guys going?
This is going to be a good way to de-stress.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That is more than fair. All right, well, let's kick her off with our first film, The Last Song. A rebellious girl is sent to a southern beach town for the summer to stay with her father. Through their mutual love of music, the estranged duo learn to reconnect. You know what? That's actually like
makes sense.
That's actually a fairly you know what? It's not a love story. It's a father and daughter reconnecting.
Yeah,
true.
but then what the fuck is this poster?
I know.
Because if you didn't know that was Greg Kinnear at the bottom, you would probably just assume that's Liam Hemsworth again.
I did.
You know?
Until you said that, I did
Yeah.
assume that.
Because they're not giving you anything to make you think it's not him.
Yeah,
until you're that
that's-
close.
So we're that
Yeah.
close, yeah.
And they've got the same
kind of
dusty
hair,
blonde hair and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So
And I was going to say, I like that this is obviously the stereotypical Nicholas Sparks movie poster. However,
Yeah.
Dear John did not have this. Because it was them sitting on the... Both have beaches. So
But
guess
like-
that's
I
why
don't
it is.
necessarily mind the top half of this poster or the bottom half of this poster
But
by
it
themselves.
kind of-
Together,
Yeah.
they just...
But
yeah.
together, it's a little weird just because I don't know.
It just looks like they're up in the clouds. Like, it's an assumption that one of them may die if they're like... you
It
know.
does actually look a little bit, like she's
they're
a
in
bit
heaven.
ghosty.
I don't know. It's the poster's fine. I don't think it's bad. That one is interesting.
The IMDb one.
Yeah,
IMDb always seems to
if you
have
just pull
these
it up so they can look at it.
real shitty
It's
posters.
it's a little,
Oh, God.
Oh, so it's the exact same bottom.
but it's
Yeah.
It's the same bottom, but so instead of like the
lovey-dovey and the filter.
The Nicholas Sparks.
that actually looks like
He's also-
he looks like a ghost.
He's just
That is a Liam Hemsworth ghost.
That's
movie.
just his head.
Yeah, like on
She
top
is
of the sun.
and she is looking very concerned.
No, just,
And you know
Like-
what? If Liam Hemsworth ghost was following me, I'd be concerned too.
just his head.
And that's a movie that I would like to see. Liam Hemsworth just haunting the shit out of Miley Cyrus because
There's a lot of history there.
They met on this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is how they met 10 years ago. Wow, okay.
What has
And it's-
happened in 10 years for these two?
Considering that they did meet, the chemistry's not.
It's not
really
good.
there.
It's so bad. I watched this movie and went, how is this the movie they started dating after?
Right.
Because it's just like...
But you know how sometimes they say if your chemistry is so good in real life that it's shit on screen, you're like, well,
Right.
then you guys must be fucking fire in real life because there is nothing in this movie that makes you
No.
go, oh, I can see how this happened. Like, she's a southern little brat.
Dude,
Yeah.
my
yeah.
favorite comment from you when we were messaging each other watching this was, look at that outfit she's wearing on the beach. This rebel in all black. Like, you were just
old-
not having
I
it.
was like, nah, because everyone's,
Emo Miley.
that's it.
It was
Everyone's
emo
on the
Miley,
beach,
yeah.
in the,
In southern...
beach attire.
Yeah.
And she walks in and she's like, dark hair and little black outfit.
Ripped
and I was
black
just like,
jeans
oh, of
and-
course she's a rebel. because-
I just don't trust anyone who wears jeans to the beach. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's
It just
something...
doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Whoops. Well, I don't trust you for some reason.
Now, I do find this quite interesting that this movie was written by two males. Like, Nicholas Sparks wrote the book, and Jeff Van Veer wrote the screenplay.
Nicholas Sparks wrote the screenplay before he'd finished the book. He actually
Yes.
sold the film. I was reading this.
Because wasn't it like so? And it wasn't it also just like this is a Miley Cyrus project?
Yeah, so
he
that
wrote
was
it
when
for
she
Miley,
was
yeah.
kind of like Hannah Montana had started, and she was very much
With the
like,
Disney
a
girl,
Disney,
yeah.
Yeah.
Party in the USA was fucking going all over the place.
But this was the movie that was meant to launch her away from Disney. Like, it was let's you move on from Disney onto more quote unquote serious stuff.
like, and what she should have done is like kind of do like what Selena Gomez did with Spring Breakers. Even though Selena Gomez in Spring Breakers was like the good girl,
Yeah.
it was still that movie was still
At least she's in a world of.
she's in a very
Yeah.
anti-Disney movie. And we like the things that Miley Cyrus, like the persona that she put on, was like, you'd be perfect in something like that.
Yeah.
So it's weird that this was what they chose. But they
But
probably
it-
they saw it
yeah.
as like this would have been like an easy sell, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is like, and this is like my biggest thing with this movie is like it's called The Last Song. They make a big deal of her being accepted into fucking Juilliard without practicing in years and
Was
without doing all like.
I love how you were just like, if I hear them say the word fucking child prodigy.
I was like, I'm not having it because first of all, this movie's not about that at all.
No.
Like not even a little bit. And by the end, when she starts playing music, you're like, okay, right. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, no offense to Miley Cyrus, but like, people just watching her perform wouldn't have gotten her into Juilliard.
Oh
No.
no! And like people who watched her perform so long ago, who were just like, "Wow, you've played one great song on the piano. Here's a full ride scholarship to the most prestigious music college ever."
But even just like, and it hurts my brain because even Miley as herself acting would never get into Juilliard. Like, I just can't.
Maybe
why
if you
was
were
this
like-
role written for
If you
her?
were like Alicia Keys on the piano and you had Christina Aguilera's voice and you could act like Kate Blanchett, go right ahead. But you're fucking Miley Cyrus.
Like, I know that Nicholas Sparks books and stuff are supposed to be very,
Oh yeah.
like, not
Removed
supposed to,
from
yeah.
reality.
But I was just sitting there going,
Yeah.
I can't.
That's a little one step too far.
I can't do it. Like, and then their chemistry is not there, and then she's just such a bitch to her dad the whole
Like,
And the little brother is insufferable, by the way. Like,
I do like that there was a collective disdain. for the brother.
there's always one.
There's always one character.
And like, and Greg Kinnear as the dad, he's not a bad dad.
No.
He is like, dude, you are trying with her so hard. Like, he puts up with so much shit from her, and she just constantly is like, me, I don't want it, me. And then like when she decides to like come good, you're sort of like, you know what? You've had your chance.
Yeah, you don't deserve it.
You
now.
don't deserve it. You know, they try and like make her character something that we can feel for when like the stuff with the dad happens, and you just sort of think, I don't want to give you any sympathy because you haven't earned it.
no, and then, like, when the dad gets sick and the mom still doesn't come back for a long time.
What?
And you're just like, so the kids are just by themselves.
Just waiting
What?
for dad to
Yeah.
die, and then like, what do we do now?
What's going on in this fucking
And I
movie?
actually think that was a mistake with how they told it. That they make the illness a secret. Like,
It's
it
like the
should
twist.
have. It
It's
should
a
have been
twisty
no.
something, yeah.
We're going here to spend the final months with
your-
Dad
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
is dying.
Yeah.
that should have
Yeah.
been
That's
a
the
good idea,
twist.
yeah.
But sorry, should have been not the twist. That should have been
premise
the
of the
premise of
movie.
the film.
Because
No,
then,
we might have also gotten a nice Miley Cyrus character too.
Yeah.
Like,
but even if she's not, then you have the tension there. Like, she's lashing out
that's true.
because
Yeah.
she's frustrated that he's sick and she doesn't know what
And
the hell she
yeah.
wants
you
to
can
do.
you
and-
can at least go, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I understand. But by the time they reveal it, you're like, you've
Yeah.
just been a bitch this entire movie, and I don't care about you at this point.
I
like,
don't want you to get into Juilliard now. That's,
like, it's I think that's how they probably should have handled it instead of going, hey, we've got our third act twist because a
Yeah.
fucking Nicholas Sparks movie has
what
to
I was
have a
gonna say.
third act twist.
That's exactly the reason it's in that point of the film, because it's Nicholas Sparks going, and here is the heartbreak, and you're like, oh fuck, saw that.
And
one.
that freaking twist where it was like Liam's friend's character who burned down the fucking thing, and then the dad's like, no, just let them think that I had something to do. Like,
I didn't get why the dad was protecting this
I don't know.
asshole dude. Because the Liam Hemsworth's friend is a prick.
Yeah.
There are so many unlikable characters in this
He's like
movie.
he's like that guy at Dear John.
Yeah, he's the friend in Dear John.
conservative.
yeah.
The conservatives. But I don't get why the dad stuck up.
Because it wasn't Liam.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it's
so-
like it was.
And Liam's not going to get in trouble for his friend doing a dickhead thing. Like, this
It's just, there are things where I was just sitting here going, none of this is like leading me to,
No.
like, I just,
Yeah. Also, one thing that really irritated me was that when you first see Liam Hemsworth, sandy blonde hair, which doesn't suit him, by the way. Then
No, it's
the
not
next
great.
scene, dark hair. And then the next scene, sandy blonde hair.
clearly there were some reshoots in there.
It really frustrated me because I was like, there's no continuity in your hair.
At least Fant Four Stick tried to put a wig on Kate Mara, and they're just like, you know what, Liam, like you actually look better, so we'll leave you
Because
in with
like,
the
if that was
brown
like a
hair.
dye job, not gonna happen just overnight. Frosted tips. But yeah, anyway, that's my little grievance with. I mean, one of them.
Well,
But
I loved this film,
Yeah.
but it was Liam
Yeah.
Hemsworth hair
Like-
that really.
5 stars, but because of that hair, 0.
I was getting upset initially with the raccoon
Oh,
subplot because I didn't think.
I love that it's actually the raccoon side plot.
Because, well, in fairness, and initially, it then does become a little, like, it doesn't pay off necessarily, but there is an element at the end where I'm like, oh, he's waiting out there. That's kind of cute
The
for the
raccoon.
movie. No, the raccoon waited for
I
Miley
love
the
that
whole
raccoon just
movie.
sitting there waiting the whole time, being like, "She's gonna sing, you guys."
Juilliard have sent raccoon spies.
It's not a real raccoon. It has like a video camera from Juilliard.
in the eye.
takes his face off and is like, "It's Billy Ray Cyrus and George Lopez."
They're just hiding in the like grass on the beach. Just
The crossover event of the year.
I,
man.
ugh.
Wouldn't hate
and
it.
like the thing is, there are quite a few Nicholas Sparks movies that I do actually like, even though I know they're not top tier films. But this movie was just,
Yeah.
I just couldn't find anything about it to.
No, part of me feels like it's because he wrote the script. I feel like if you're reading a book and you're reading this story,
He didn't write the script. The screenplay is written by someone else.
I read online that he initially wrote the screenplay.
Two people wrote the screenplay.
So he was one of the people.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them.
because
Sorry,
they
my
were-
bad. I thought that said book because I can't read apparently.
But he wrote the book as well,
Yeah.
but just they released it after the movie. I don't know why, but he's obviously, I feel like if you're reading something like that, you can at least take your imagination a little, like, you know, you can let the imaginative inhibitions go a bit, Nicholas Spark-wise. Now he's actually having to write like a 3-act structure, and that is getting filmed, so we have to visually take it in. He's not good at storytelling.
And it would have been interesting to know, like, how much of the book he'd written before the script. Like,
because I
Yeah.
feel
if
like he was
like,
doing it simultaneously.
yeah.
But there's a reason why a lot of people who write novels don't write screenplays and the other way around, because
Yeah.
they're very, very different
Super
tasks
different.
to take
Oh,
on.
God,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
But I don't think people sort of really understand. You're like, as much as you can read a book going, "Oh, I can totally see this as a movie." You're like, yeah, but
there's a
it's-
nuance to
that's
actually
it.
doing
yeah.
that.
It's like
Yeah.
the descriptions that they've created is completely different from writing.
I had
words.
this. It's so true because I read The Tattooist of Auschwitz recently, and that was a screenplay that the chick who wrote the novel then adapted to a novel because no one wanted to buy the screenplay. And you can tell reading the book that it's almost like a copy paste job. And I was like, I'm reading this like a really good movie, but it sucks as a book. And that's exactly how I felt about Last Song. I'm like, I can see this being a better book than. Not better than the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a good
That's
book by
fair.
any means.
No, but I just think it's interesting because
Yeah.
of that kind of, and it's not always like that. I'm sure there are people who can do both, but
Yeah.
most
Oh,
of
shit,
the
yeah.
time that's not the case. So
Yeah.
it's just an interesting thing to see what kind of effect it had on this
I mean,
movie.
look at Gillian Jacobs doing Gone Girl.
Oh, Gillian
Like,
Flynn, yeah.
Gillian
I was
Flynn,
just
sorry,
thinking. I was
don't
actually
forget
thinking that. Yeah.
Gillian Flynn doing, she did Gone Girl and then she did Dark Places. Dark Places is not a good movie, like whatsoever. But
despite so much good stuff in
I
it.
know,
She
like,
also- She also adapted Gone Girl for a screenplay, though.
Yeah.
There's so many elements of the movie that are different to the book, so she's made it like a good movie as well. So,
Yeah.
some people can do it.
All right, let's move on to our next movie.
yes.
Last song, not a recommend from anyone.
No, God, no. Let's move on.
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry, Abby, but I cannot recommend this movie to anybody.
Maybe
I'm
just
so
download.
sorry.
All right, let's
No,
move on to
actually,
our
don't download
next
the soundtrack.
movie.
Hell yeah!
Clash of the Titans. Perseus, demigod, son of Zeus, battles the minions of the underworld to stop them from conquering heaven and earth. That's a good part.
It's a
Spoiler.
I know, like...
Yeah, but if
I mean,
if
we don't
Medusa
need-
getting her
yeah.
head cut off is a spoiler to anyone,
Yeah, I was gonna say
like
in any movie with Greek mythology.
I don't
She was
really
my
know what to tell
She
you.
was my favorite character.
But, I mean...
I don't mind the poster. I think it's basically selling
Sells-
you what you're
It
gonna
very
get.
much is selling
So-
the sword and sandal.
Yep.
I think you could even go without the little bit of
Town
Greek
in the
ruin
bottom.
in the
I mean, it's a perfectly good poster. It works. It does what it
Like
sells
it's
the movie.
a
It's a good sizable sword from when Mr. Worthington.
that's a very innuendo-ly placed sword, isn't it?
Oh God. Well, that's the poster. This is the hard part of poster talk when there's just it's
fine.
Where it's
It's
fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you
It's
can't
actually done its job.
really- yeah.
yeah, I think so.
It's done its job, so-
I'm
got
good
good
with
head.
that.
All right, let's move on to the actual film.
Sorry.
Look, before
I really
anyone says
enjoyed-
anything, I freaking love Clash of the Titans. I don't care. Like, I went and saw this movie midnight premiere, just like
Nice.
was super stoked on it. And there's definitely problems with the movie. It's not perfect, but I have so much fun with this movie. Like and
feel
the
like that's
cast,
the key word.
the cast elevates it to a level that it probably should not be at either.
They're giving like proper performances in
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
Like Liam Neeson is
Dude.
actually out there
Dude.
being Zeus. Like he is hardcore rocking that role. It's kind of funny because I know this movie definitely came out at a time where post Avatar, people were like, let's make Sam Worthington a thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he just isn't. It doesn't have loads of charisma in this movie as well. So it's kind of funny. I think we're going to see we've got a few Sam Worthington movies over the next few
We
years.
only really have two, which is
Yeah.
the sequel to this and Man on a Ledge, and that's in 2012, and that's it. Really, like he didn't really do anything outside of those.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to watch this sequel to this
Oh,
movie.
Salvation.
Salvation.
Terminator.
That was last year.
That's
That was his first
2009.
movie. That's last year. Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, that was 2009. So he had Salvation, Avatar, then this, and then
The sequel.
the sequels and Man on a
Man on a
Ledge.
Ledge.
And then he married Lara Bingle.
Oh, where the bloody hell are you? Oh, nice. That's a reference for our
acting.
Australian viewers.
Like and he's also got The Debt, which is that little, which is
Oh,
like
with
it's
Helen Mirren,
actually
yeah.
really
That
good.
is a
Like
good
it's
movie.
and we can get into that. I think that was the problem with Sam Worthington is they were like, he's an action star. No, he's a dramatic actor.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
he's better
yeah.
at drama than he is action, and he's shown that in film. And I think that's the biggest problem they have with a lot of these. Oh, we're gonna make them stars. It's like
Yeah.
no, they're not action centric
Yeah.
heroes. They work better when you give them a script and you've seen like an actual good, well written character with a script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see it with him with Hacksaw Ridge, Sam Worthington with Hacksaw Ridge. Like he's
Yeah.
really good
He
in
is good in
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw
Jai Courtney in the Water Divider. Like he's really good
I
in
love
that.
Jack
He's-
Courtney. Like he gets a lot of shit, but
Yeah, but-
No, I think he's a
like
good
him.
bloke.
I
But
think
that's
he's
what
a
I mean.
good
Like
actor.
there's when you actually give them scripts and characters and actual like even Taylor Kitsch, he's
Yeah.
shown he can act really like in really good movies if you give them the right script.
Yeah,
And
True
that's-
Detective season 2, and he's
Yeah.
actually quite good at that. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I wish Hollywood took out of this, and I think they've started to.
Yeah.
Because you haven't really seen them go. This is the next big guy.
But I also
Yeah.
like that in this movie, like, because he's surrounded by so many, like, proven actors, I think it also highlights that he's not, like, he's not someone who can, like, carry a movie. Because you don't come out of Clash of Titans going, man, Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
You've got, like, Liam Neeson, Ray Fiennes, acting the shit out of their beards.
Oh god, yeah.
You've got Mads Mikkelsen coming
Yeah,
in there.
that's
like
right.
Gemma
Like,
Arterton being all Gemma Arterton-y.
Luke
Yes.
Evans
Like-
is in this.
Luke
Yeah.
Evans.
Oh,
like-
Jesus, yeah, it's good.
Beautiful.
Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, like it's a pretty solid cast.
Like it's
And
not
everyone's pretty good.
it's not like a Clash of the Titans Sam Worthington's movie. It's the fact that he is the lead, but it's also kind of it's very ensemble-esque, I think.
I think the thing that works for me the most about this movie, ironically, is the action isn't what gets me. It's those ensemble scenes with these great actors talking about mythology and using those big ideas.
And selling it, though.
And selling it.
They believe what they're saying. And Ray
action-
Fiennes is
yeah.
a big part of that because I know a lot of people like, he's just being Voldemort 2.0. I'm
He's
like,
not.
he's not. It's actually pretty
I wanna-
pretty fucking
I feel like
creepy
those are the people that
Hades.
have only seen him in Harry Potter. And
Yeah,
you're like,
true.
He's got a very wide.
I still want to
range.
see him legit as like Hades in a Hercules live action.
Yeah.
Like I want to
That-
see him be
yeah.
like a Hades character because
That'd be fun.
he has so many dimensions to that kind of character. Like
Yeah.
it's not all just Voldemort 2.0. It's
Yeah.
like
He's got like there's like a nice little like wink in his eye where he's
Yeah.
just like, I know exactly what this movie is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to commit fully to it.
Oh, that's what
especially
sells it.
him
Yeah.
playing against Neeson. Like,
Oh, yes.
dude.
That's
Like you
the
could be
true
like,
Clash of
I
the
will, like,
Titans.
I will, yeah. It's like I will happily just have like you two in a room.
It's like a war room
and
scenario.
like take
yeah.
away all the action. Won't care because
But-
the action
90
in
minutes
this
of
is
that.
very.
It's
like,
not
It's
great.
very pedestrian.
It's not great,
yeah.
but
Like, it's all like this is purely just so you can jump to another point in the
Yeah,
story.
oh god,
Like, there's
it's
nothing
all
that's like
it's all feels like second unit sort of scenes.
Yeah.
That like we've got 30 days in the desert. We're gonna just pump out these big CGI action scenes, and then
and the CGI hasn't
The
aged.
visual
No.
effects are
No.
not good.
And like again, it was one of those things like when you saw it in cinemas in 3D, it got away with it because
it was new.
it was new and like when it's in 3D, everything you're like, oh, that's cool. But like when you watch it
Scorpion tails
in its
everywhere.
normal format, you're like Medusa, you're just like, you're not a real person.
I want to know what effect they actually used to get like the god's armor to shine in the
Oh,
super
yeah.
awkward way that it does because it's not like light is reflecting on it to get it to shine.
There's
It's like
360 degrees of light.
it's
on Liam
like
Neeson.
this weird ethereal kind of sparkle almost, and it's like almost also lens flare at the same time. Like it's this really trippy like
I don't think they knew what they were doing.
But I feel like
more brightness.
yeah,
more
like in
brightness.
movies where there's like when someone needs to get like wet, and you see like people come up
Yes.
with like that spritz like
Yeah.
Zac Efron, and you're like, I want that job. I feel like there was someone like a few little.
computer people.
But a few little like people that were just like constantly running around being like, get the light, get the light.
I think my one big issue with this movie, because I do like this movie a lot actually, and I think it gets a lot more flack than it should. Like it's not necessarily a great movie, but it's also not the worst movie in the world that people
God, no.
kind of talk about it to be a lot of the time.
We've watched plenty
Yeah,
of things.
this is
that are
definitely not the bottom of my list by any
No.
means from even this year so far.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem, I think, is the way the movie wraps up. Like, because how the action is lacking in this movie, it kind of
Yeah.
feels a little lackluster as they're trying to wrap it up at the end.
Yeah, and it happens very quick.
Yeah.
He seems, obviously, he's going to use Medusa to turn
Right.
the Kraken into stone. And I've seen this movie probably like 6 times. And I was still excited.
Of course.
Of course I have. Of course. I double feature it with Cop Out regularly.
This is a better movie than Cop Out.
This is
All right. But the important thing is, do you have your Dr. Cop Out fact for us?
I have a Dr. Cop Out fact maybe for the next episode.
Okay.
My Dr. Cop Out was Nicholas Sparks wrote the script beforehand. And I was excited to see that scene again, and then I completely forgot how quick it's over.
Yeah.
How there's a bit of a battle. The Kraken's revealed. He's got to fight his way to the top of the city that's getting destroyed, and then he shows Medusa saying
Yeah.
the movie's over. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a little sad.
I think like because I remember seeing this in the cinemas and I was disappointed when I first saw it. I think because the build up was so massive and like all you saw in the things was like release the Kraken and you're like this will be amazing. So I think
trailer, yeah.
because I'd seen it and I remember being underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen it since I saw it in the cinemas. So watching it again, I think because I just remember being underwhelmed that I could watch this and go, this is like, it's a perfectly serviceable action movie. Like, I'm enjoying it because I don't have this expectation.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
expectation is what absolutely killed it for me the first time.
fair.
This time around, I was like, I remember this being for lack of a better word, bad, but like a good bad.
Yeah.
And then you watch it again now going, they're having so much fun.
Oh God.
And I
yeah.
can completely forgive it for that because I'm not expecting this to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and that I think
I mean, and the first time I saw it was a midnight screening. I was in high school. Like, we hopped up on like 5-hour energy because we had class the next day. Like, it was very much not a cinematic experience we were looking for. It was like, we just wanted to have some fun. And to us, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
So, like, I never really had a negative because I wasn't going in thinking like,
Yeah.
I just had different expectations than you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
So.
And like as we've learned, like expectations is like something that we should never ever have.
They're always the biggest killer.
But that's the thing, like you will always have those going into a movie like this, and then that's why I kind of always try and if something that I didn't know I had expectations, I'll try and see it again just so that I can go, okay, no, that was why I actually fair enough. Well, let's move on to the next one. Funny enough, this was when I first saw it, I went, there can't possibly a movie that got worse than this, and then we saw Last Song, and I think Last Song's worse than this. So
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
We will disagree.
let's move on to Why Did I Get Married
Oh
To?
God.
Oh, get absolutely fucked.
What is that?
What the hell is that?
Love it.
No, okay,
Love
I
it.
want to just say something.
Oh.
I want to say something. At the very least, none of those guys are in the same room.
God no.
Look at the guys.
I wouldn't even. I would
And, like,
even say
the-
no. None of the
The
girls.
woman
are either.
between Janet Jackson and
Yeah.
Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
no, the
The very
so
middle.
that, she is literally just like she's a dead woman who's just like I'm a ghost, pop me up. Yes.
Oh, wait, look at
Oh, and,
look at his arm.
oh, and his hand is
Wow.
what? And Jill
Wait,
Scott
what is
is
he-
like
okay,
Jill
what is-
Scott is selling like I'm so sexy, and then this movie you're just like
Okay,
well,
I
you're-
want to know what's going
What?
on here.
What is
that?
this?
Whoa.
What is that?
Whoa.
What is that?
What is he grabbing? Is he?
I don't.
What?
Is his arm disappearing into his
Into
side?
his yes.
Yeah.
And like look at his face. He's just like oh I've got
I'm searching
yeah.
for something in
He's
here.
like-
It's just
I
bros.
think
We're
I-
just
I think I-
bros.
Like, what is that?
No homo, bro.
No.
And then like the other guy looking at Tyler Perry is a little bit like, I wanna fuck you.
Okay, can we just show them this one though too?
Jesus.
What the?
Can we
fuck?
show them this
See,
one?
this one isn't
That is-
god
It's still
awful,
not great.
but it's not
Terrible.
good.
Still not great. This
that's
one,
the other
That's
one.
the other one.
That? Yeah. See.
I
that
think
makes,
that
The
yeah.
Photoshop's not as bad on that one.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
and it makes a bit more sense. Like I don't know what either of them are trying to achieve. I had to actually look. I'm like they're pushing.
Where's Janet Jackson's hands going?
I don't know.
I don't know where anyone's hands are going in this poster.
Now that
No,
Tyler Perry's hand
arm
is
is
freaking
so-
me out.
It's so
it's
big.
the scale of his hand to his
Dude.
head
Is
is
like
not correct
no.
at all.
You know what they say about
Is
big
this
hands?
the main poster? This one? Oh God.
What do they say about big hands, Nick?
Big heads. Only Tyler Perry has them.
Can I just say, I've been holding on to this for 2 weeks, and I have wanted to show you it for 2 weeks.
Oh my god.
Dude,
And I am
that
so glad I
poster is
didn't.
So bad.
It is so terrible.
God.
And it's only gonna get worse when we talk about the fucking thing.
So,
So who knew this was a sequel before we started?
I didn't actually give the
We-
description. Whoops.
It's all right. Give us the description.
Okay, because I'd love to hear what this one sounds like.
It's all right.
Four
Yeah.
couples find themselves struggling to save their marriages once again on their annual marriage retreat, while each of them battle through financial, physical, mental, and emotional issues.
Okay,
At least it
okay.
doesn't sell a comedy.
They definitely battle through some.
Okay, I
Serious
love how
shit.
it says once again.
Once again,
This is they do this every year.
so you
Same
just didn't
four
learn the
couples.
first time.
They do this every year.
At that point, it's just like maybe it's time to give up. We have to do
Like-
another one of these retreats. Oh.
I mean, and because we went into it and I specifically asked about 2 minutes in, I went, is this a sequel? Because it's Why Did I Get Married 2? And I didn't know if that was just a quirky title or if there
Why
was,
did I get married?
or if there was another movie. And we were like, oh, there is a sequel. Well, I guess we'll find out. Or there is a prequel. I guess we'll figure out if we needed any context or not. You
And
don't.
You don't.
You
Like,
really
you can
don't.
absolutely watch this movie.
They tell you.
having no idea because you literally are just like, you get caught up, but also like because they just start relatively quite angry at each other, you're just like, this is just your dynamic. Because clearly the first one, it didn't fix anything.
It looks like it made things worse,
God,
actually.
You know, like the one person you think has gotten better, Jill Scott, because her new husband, and he seems quite like passive and, you know, and you sort of think they're going to be maybe they'll be the loving couple.
Yeah.
And then you have Tyler Perry and his wife, and they sort of seem okay. And then, like, you know that something's going to be wrong with Janet Jackson's because she's just too eager to be like, we're fine.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other two, Michael J. White, and who are just like, from the get-go, you're just like, shut the fuck up. Like, they're pushing her character so much to be like the crazy, wacky one that you're just like, it's just annoying.
Yes.
Dude, that airport scene at the beginning when she first walks in and you go, oh, this is what we're getting.
Like,
Okay.
I could
For
literally talk about this
2
movie for like 3.5 hours because there was so much of it that I just went, what the fuck?
There's
so much going on.
a huge, very triggering tonal shift in this movie that they do not warn you about.
No.
And
Which comes really out of nowhere.
And also, like
proper out of nowhere.
I suppose, is your Dr. Cop-Out fact the Janet Jackson thing?
No, but it can be.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So.
But I mean, like, so Janet Jackson was filming this movie and her brother passed away.
Yeah.
And obviously movies aren't shot in like chronological order. But from the way that this movie plays out, you assume that everything early in the film with Janet Jackson was probably filmed before because her character is in a relatively happy place. But the tonal shift where her marriage just fucking explodes.
takes a massive
and her
turn.
husband becomes
abusive.
so abusive.
Very abusive.
And the stuff that he like says to her and does to her.
the stuff he physically does
like,
to her makes me sick.
It's so uncomfortable to watch.
It's uncomfortable because they have tension maybe like 2 scenes before that when there's the talk of that they might separate and she wants him to move out. And then she comes home and then he's drinking, he's drunk, and he starts physically abusing her, pushing her around, pouring alcohol.
Him pouring the alcohol on her, like, that
face.
really was like, I don't know why that was the thing that just, out of everything, I was like, that just...
It just doesn't fit the movie. And I think I said this in the group chat. I was like, there is a time and a place for this sort of stuff in film. Like, I think it's important that people should know, obviously, things like this happen because...
And, like, it's a very realistic... Like,
but that's why it's uncomfortable.
that's why, because it's so realistic.
But
And
do
you
you know-
imagine, if this was filmed after Michael Jackson passed away, it makes it so much harder to watch because her like, she is raw in her emotions in that scene.
It's,
Yeah. I can get on board with how that scene is played.
Yeah.
In a better movie with a better director.
Yeah.
Because the tonal shift of the first basically anything on the island. So if you've never seen it, there's basically 2 parts of the film. There's a whole about 45 minutes on an island on the island
longer.
retreat.
Of just like...
probably longer.
Yeah, maybe
shit
an
hours
hour.
where, like,
Yeah,
nothing's happening.
and that everything on there, and I think that's what was filmed pre Michael's death, and then everything else afterwards.
When they
was
go
filmed-
home.
when they go
Yeah.
home was filmed afterwards. The problem is everything on that island is filmed like a normal comedy.
Yes.
Like it's filmed like, oh, this is going to be a wacky comedy about
and it's
4
like,
couples.
and it's not particularly funny.
Oh, no.
No,
And,
but
like,
at least it...
But it's got
Yeah.
that
But
air of like,
it's got that, the ex-husband turned up who was an abusive asshole, but,
Yeah.
and, that could be funny. They're the comedic way that they're going about it, but then they come back from the island and it's just a complete tonal shift.
It's not even that. It just feels like a completely different movie.
Yeah.
No, because,
And if you're not ready for that, like...
Because I don't think
That's such-
none of us were.
No.
Like,
That's such
at
a-
all prepared
well, I
for
was
it.
ready for it because I was watching it after you guys.
Yeah.
I suppose,
spoken
we
about-
did. We were just like, we all were just
I was actually watching it about 20 minutes behind
after
you
us,
guys.
Because I
Yeah.
think I'd watched this like a few days
Yeah,
before
I
you
think
guys,
so.
and I was just like...
But that's the thing, and Taylor's right because it's tonally inconsistent in the sense that not even maybe 2 scenes later, we're back to comedy. We're
Yeah.
an attempt at comedy, and that's why everyone has said the correct thing. It's in the wrong movie, it's done by the wrong director, and it's not appropriate content for this movie. It's not inappropriate content for film because it's obvious,
No.
but this film in particular.
And also like,
And it doesn't make sense.
but like,
as to,
and like where that story goes, like when like his character, when she goes into his work and like is basically just reprimanding him, and he ends up getting hit by a car and
okay.
passes away.
That ending.
No,
like
not,
the ending, so
Laughing
you're like-
at that's not.
No, but he like passes away, and you're just like, okay, fuck. And then literally like it goes to the last scene of the movie, and she's like happy, and then
This was my favorite thing. Out of
Wait, before we do that, because he gets hit by the car, and then I text the group and said, haha, fuck, imagine if they commit to his death, and then it's his funeral, and I was like, whoa.
Well,
Like,
first of all, it was just ridiculous because that's not the way to resolve any of the things that happened in the
It
movie.
was almost just like I was like, oh, we just like it's literally they're just like, what the fuck? Oh, just fucking kill him.
yeah,
And
that's
we're
it. Yeah, we made him an asshole. Let's not have him get reprimanded for anything he's
Or
done.
have to like
Or have to
atone for
face his
anything. Or,
consequences. No, just
yeah,
let him,
just
let
kill him.
get hit by a car.
My beautiful, beautiful Dwayne Johnson, who's already had a fucking bad 2010, rocks up
Rocks up.
in a weird cameo.
The rocks up.
Ah.
Yeah. So well, I had to say it twice.
And like, it's so weird. And like, he comes out and he's just like, oh, he wants to take you out to coffee. And Janet Jackson like smiles, and then it ends. So it ends on this weird like
He has 3
romantic
lines.
comedy moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dwayne, what are you doing, mate? Like, he looks.
But it's also
Beautiful
just
as
like
always, but it's
even
weird.
even with everything that happened in her relationship and how shitty he was after he just died, like
oh,
there's no grief.
No,
There's no like.
because is it
they're
like
on the
six? Is it
beach.
like
So
6 months?
that's, I think it's 12 months. I
But
think it's a
either
year
way,
later.
you are not like
But they-
what he did to you and how he passed away, and he passed away like he got hit by a car in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't think 12 months later
But
you're
they
going
have-
to be.
But they don't even transition you, even if
No.
it was.
Do
Like
they
it just
have
jumps
this-
to.
It's like
the scene
death,
on the beach?
funeral.
where they actually have and,
Oh,
then, like,
he's-
and everyone's like, oh, we're so sad. I can't remember if anyone actually knew. Was he an abusive arsehole? Did they know?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think they did.
That's what I don't think
well,
she said.
they
the friends
the
turn
friends
up to the
turn up
and they see the
they
house.
see the house.
I remember that.
And
yeah.
when-
and he's like sitting, yeah,
And the
that's
two
right.
and the friends are trying to stop the husband from
That's
taking
right.
stuff. So
That's right.
I mean, it's never
Which
explicit.
then also turns into a comedy scene, like within that scene.
yeah,
Like
it's
Tyler
never
Perry's trying to be like whippy and like, no, bro, you don't have to do it. It's like
like
this
it's
is
never
a-
explicitly
it's-
said
oh,
that
fuck
like
me,
But
this-
and
he
it's
abused
but
his
it's never
wife,
even
but-
like dealt with properly,
No,
even
no.
without talking. Like you don't really get the sense that like
It's the shock moment. It was supposed to be the moment that you go, oh my God, this is hard hitting. And it's like, I don't want this.
No.
I don't want this in
this
my,
is not the movie you've been giving me for the
in
last
my
hour.
Tyler
No.
Perry stage play adapted
and
to a
like
film.
you've got like the earlier on scenes in the beach, which also are horrible CGI. Like you
Oh,
can
yeah,
tell
there
that
was
that
some
scene
bad,
was
yeah.
like filmed on like a sound stage.
Oh, also, I don't believe there was a script, especially for the scene with the bros when they're all just bro talking.
Oh.
I was just like, Tyler Perry was like, let's do this thing. It's called method acting. We're just going to roll the
Dude,
cameras and you just say
when they're
bro
freaking
shit.
sitting on jet skis and one of
Yes.
them's shirtless and they're talking about like
I mean, I wasn't.
bro
I didn't
sh-
hate it.
but they're just talking about the dumbest bro
it's
shit
just, yeah,
that
it's
is
just like,
like
it's just like this doesn't need to be in this movie
No.
because
And it
you're not
goes
telling
on
us
for so
anything.
long.
Yeah, it goes.
Also,
that's it. I was just like,
it
this is
doesn't-
gonna end.
It doesn't need to be in this movie if this is a sequel and you've established your characters
Yeah.
in the first movie.
And
But the other thing that kills me about this is I don't remember which character it is, but the guy who can't stop only using NFL
Oh,
references to
so
describe.
yeah, so
yeah.
Michael J.
Anything.
White,
Yeah, the
who's married
reporter.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that
Blues
scene.
Yeah, the crazy
all he
shit.
does, and it's like when he's saying it, you can tell that he's. I think there was a script because the way that he's saying it is very much just like this doesn't sound natural coming from you.
No.
Like it's like you've been told to say a sports analogy. Okay, I've been told to say a sports analogy. He says it, and not just like it's not just like flippantly said, like the way that
Yeah.
they want it to come across. Like
I don't
it's
hate
so-
Michael Jai White, but I also remember he also wrote and directed Never Back Down 2 and 3, so I don't have
Okay, but can we
loads of-
talk about the scene where the sports studio?
Oh, where she comes to the
Yeah.
sports
I'm not gonna
studio?
lie, that was amazing.
That was a very
But also, like prior to that, the weird like sex fight moments.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like how they're just like, do you think they have like massive fights so they can have like crazy makeup sex? And then like,
And then they do.
and they do, and you're like,
They do.
but it's not like it's not
It's not hot.
no, and it's not like having a fight and then being like, I'm so sorry, and like having that like
Yeah. That passionate,
like,
I'm
oh,
really
just like-
sorry.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like literally in bed, and she's just like, so the whole movie, she
Thinks he's
thinks
He's
she
cheating.
thinks he's cheating. So then the payoff is that like he wasn't.
Yeah. Wow.
But like she's so aggressive about it.
But-
and like in bed she's just like, show me your phone, and then he's just like, fucking here you go.
Yeah.
The
Look.
problem with that scene to me is not the fact that they're showing that being a part of a relationship, because there are toxic relationships where there is sex like that
Is
and
the-
it's bad.
Yeah.
But they're not framing it as being bad, and that's
No.
the problem.
Yeah, they're being like, no, this is fine. Like, he's like, this sort of hard, passionate sex will fix everything in your relationship, especially if the man is dominant. You know what I mean? Like, that's
And
kind
you're
of what
like,
they're saying.
No.
God, no.
Like,
if someone
it's-
ever tried to do that to me, I'd punch them in the
It's a
face.
weird fucking sex
And then like,
scene.
and then
Like-
the side plot from that where like the next door neighbor is like, someone's
Oh my
having sex in your
God.
house.
I
And
actually,
it's-
I loved that. I thought that
See,
was
no, that
actually
payoff is all
hilarious.
right. That's
Like,
a good
it's a
payoff
fun-
because it's the
it's fine,
gardener
but
or
it's
whatever,
just-
the pool
it's
boy or whatever.
weird.
But but she
Boy.
walks in and just starts shooting a gun without knowing who's in the bedroom. She's just shooting holes in the walls.
That's right.
And then they're like freaking out
this
because the
fucking
the
movie.
gardener is in the bed with a woman, and
ne-
she's still firing the gun at them as they're leaving the room. Like,
Because then you go, I get being angry and wanting to shoot someone, but it's like, but then if you shoot someone, you're a
like
felon.
You're a murderer.
like she's not even just doing it to scare them anymore
Like,
at
it's
that
not like-
point, because
it's like bang,
it's like
bang in the air. It's like I'm
like,
aiming it
at
at
them.
you, but because I'm such a bad shot, I didn't get like.
it's like in all of the walls, and I was just
And
like,
then
what
also,
the fuck?
But like also, never spoken about it.
No, it's never addressed.
Going back to what you were saying, where his payoff is that, you know, oh, he's not having an affair, and then it's revealed he has a second mobile, which he was having an affair. And it's like,
Which happens in 2 scenes.
yeah, it's this whole movie is
I love this
just
movie.
like,
My favorite characters in this whole movie are the other guys in the sports studio that are just
yeah.
that are trying to pretend like they're not.
Like, because she
Yeah, that-
storms in and yells at
Like,
them as well.
that's
That was funny.
That's
That
like
was
a
good.
legitimate like comedy
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
And you're like, if the movie was more of this sort of
Yeah,
Humor.
situational
like
kind of.
outlandish
Yeah.
situational
Yeah.
humor, you'd probably have an okay.
At least a funny.
you know, at
You'd
least
be
it's
like
funny,
laughing at it.
You know, and like her being over the top in that scene, you sort of are like, I'm okay with it in this scene, but she's just at like 11 the entire
The whole movie. So then when she
This
goes
has
to
been
that
a
just
point,
lasting for
yeah,
her.
you've like,
she
she's-
never escalates
That's
to a
it.
point where you're like, oh, because she's constantly.
Yeah, like if she was like a little bit meek and then that scene happened, you'd be like, fuck, all right. But like she's
And
just
also, funny.
she's just full on the entire time that you just like when it comes to that scene, you're like, fuck.
Because
of
she's
course,
literally
okay.
the only thing she does the whole movie is scream at him.
Yes.
I don't think she ever uses a normal level tone of voice.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
Yeah, like even like when she's like with her friends,
Yeah.
she's like yelling
At them.
Like I'd be like, why are you friends with this person? Like you know what it should be? Why am I friends with you too?
Oh, bless. And then the
So
rock
that
sets
was-
it up. Why did I get
Rock.
married? But the ears are 3. I'm waiting for that one, Tyler Perry.
Your call, Tyler Perry.
The ball's in your court.
Yeah.
Just bro sports talk, yeah.
so that was Why Did I Get Married To? Let's move on to the weekend box office.
Great.
Number 1 was Clash of the Titans, $61.2 million. Number 2 was Why Did I Get Married To? With $29.2
What a
million.
drop.
No, but like his movies just they
Oh,
consistently
they make
perform.
money, yeah. Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon with $29 million. The Last Song with $16 million. Alice in Wonderland with 8.2. Hot Tub Time Machine with $8 million. The Bounty Hunter with 6. Diary of a Wimpy Kid with $5.3 million. She's Out of My League with $1.5 million. And Shutter Island with $1.4 million.
Wow.
Dropped off from last week, we have Green Zone dropped off from 7th. Our Family Wedding dropped off from 10th. And Repo Man dropped off from 9th.
Oh, shame though.
Opened at like 9.
That opened like 3 weeks ago. All right. In major movie news, Henry Selick signs a long-term deal with Disney to make stop-motion films. To this day, he has not made a
I was
single
gonna say,
one
yeah, I was
since
like,
Caroline
wow.
back in 2009. Yeah. So it's been 10 years and he still hasn't actually made a film.
I don't see it happening.
I don't either
at the
at this
moment.
point,
Yeah,
no.
I feel like his brain's like slightly too dark for what Disney is now.
But I also think like Leica is kind of.
I think they're
True.
yeah.
But not only that, the market's just diminished. Like the returns they're getting is just
Yeah,
not
because like
worth it.
Kubo, which was fucking so
Kubo's
good, like didn't make
incredible.
money. Paranorman underperformed.
Yeah.
Missing Link,
Missing Link.
severely underperformed.
Even though you know,
Box
Golden Globe winner,
Trolls, Box Trolls
yeah.
underperformed.
Forgot
Like,
Box
Which
Trolls.
is so
Yeah.
unfortunate because these movies are so fucking
They're good.
yeah, like the only one that really made money was Coraline.
Yeah.
And that's this
Why
one.
he-
And
yeah.
yeah, so
It
it's
makes me so sad about Kubo. I fucking love that movie.
So
Kubo's
good.
such a good film. Alex Pettyfer signs on to I Am Number 4. 'Cause that was
Forgot
a
Alex
movie.
Pettyfer was a person
I
too. Holy shit.
legit, like, not even related to this, watched that the other night, just
Really?
randomly, because I was like, I just want to watch something, and I went into my DVD collection and was
What'd
like,
you think?
huh, it's a movie I own, cool, and watched it and rewatched it and was like, it's not terrible.
I remember liking it.
I remember not, like
And-
Teresa Palmer, that was a choice, like with her accent and her lines. But overall, and I was watching him going, he's very like I was like, you're a very handsome man, and it's like
Where's he
I could
these
see
days?
why like he was like this
Magic
and then like
Mike
Magic
2
Mike,
and
but like
3.
He only
but,
did
like,
Magic like one.
he only
though.
did
He was
one
only
because
in them
yeah,
one,
him and Channing Tatum did not get along apparently.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
All right. So you're gonna rewatch it in
I'll
next year?
I'll rewatch it next year. I did like rewatching. I was like, this is
Love a good
serviceable. It's
DJ
fine.
Caruso movie.
Timothy Oliphant.
Leonardo DiCaprio is in talks to sign on as J. Edgar Hoover for Clint
Ooh.
Eastwood. That is a movie that should
That was-
have done so much better than it did.
And
agree.
it was, I mean, I fucking hated that movie.
I don't think it's good at all. Like
It's
it
so
should have
bad.
been so much better. Like
Lots of bit.
I don't understand how Clint Eastwood, Leonardo DiCaprio, who else is like
Armie
Naomi
Hammer.
Watts?
Armie Hammer
It was
was-
just like,
yeah.
what is this? It was like what? It's like one of the ones that like I think everyone kind of forgets Leonardo DiCaprio did. because
Yeah.
just didn't
well, it
do
was
anything.
because I clear as day when that movie first aired because it was 2011, comes out next year,
Yeah.
and it was it did the Clint Eastwood track where it's like, okay, it's the last movie to be shown to anyone. Like no one knows when it's going to be seen. Like they don't quite know what to make of this movie. And then basically it got screened and everyone just went, cross it off your lists. Like cross it off your Oscar list. It ain't getting nominated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
quick thing for a moment here. He had I Am Number 4, Beastly, In Time, and Magic Mike all in a row.
I forgot about Beastly. Yeah.
And in time, he had like a smaller role because
Yeah.
that was Justin Timberlake's movie.
And then after that, it's basically just like
He was-
little
he was
things.
in The Butler.
Yeah, but
But like
Yeah.
nothing that would
Oh,
like,
and the Endless Love remake. That's right.
but he's got a couple of things
but like nothing that
right
would,
now, but nothing
the way
that's
that they would like. Again, it's like one of those like he wasn't pushing the action side of thing. Well, I remember before like, and he had Stormbreaker. prior to
Stormbreaker
that,
was the big thing
and
that I
Wild,
remember.
and
I remember
Wild,
Stormbreaker.
Wild Child.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But like it's another one that like was built up and then. I mean, he's
fizzled
not like
out.
he's not the strongest actor, but you know,
but
he was like Magic Mike. I thought he was really good.
yeah.
And last bit of movie news is Cal Penn leaves his White House job to make Harold and Kumar 3.
It's so bizarre to me that
So-
Cal Penn
so
like
bizarre.
got like a legit job, and you're just like, you're the guy that started out in Van Wilder, which I
man.
love, by the way.
Van Wilder's brilliant.
so funny.
I learnt the other day. I was talking earlier about how I watched Burt Kreischer's
Yes,
special the
Dr.
other
Cop
Dr.
Out.
Cop Out. Burt Kreischer, the stand-up comedian, Van Wilder is actually based on his story that he was actually in college for that amount of time just being the party dude. So it's kind of Van Wilder's semi-based on a true story. Dr. Cop Out fact of the week.
I really hope that the dog storyline of that movie is not based on fact,
I have yet to dig that deep, but I'll come back next week.
because that would make me incredibly sad and very uncomfortable.
Also, Harold and Kumar 3, not good. I'm a fan of the first two. They're stupid. I get it. But
Harold Kumar 3
I
was
would've-
like
The Christmas,
Christmas
one.
the Christmas one,
the Christmas
yeah.
one. In 3D, by the way. Yeah, should have just stuck with the
And like I
White
remember
House
Cal
gig.
Penn going in like in being in Superman Returns, and I was like, he doesn't say anything.
And
Yeah,
he-
he's a bit
And he
role
was
in
in
that.
House.
Well, he
was in
left
the
House to do the
do
White
the
House.
White House
gig,
job,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
From one house to another.
yeah.
Hey, sorry.
All right.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's-
I knew it as soon as it came out of my mouth.
So that's the movie news for the week, guys. In Australian release dates, we got on April 1st, so April Fool's Day, Nanny McPhee Returns. That doesn't come out until August. So we're going to be like, we'll look at that in August. But yeah, we
cool.
got it months in advance.
I like Nanny
Take
McPhee.
that, USA.
She's Out of My League.
Oh.
The Last Station, which is that Christopher
Oh,
Plummer
yeah,
Helen
yeah,
Mirren
yeah.
I
movie.
was like,
I remember
yeah,
that one,
the
yeah.
last song?
Yeah. The Last Song
Oh, shit.
and Clash of the Titans.
Oh, so
wow.
we did all right.
Yeah,
Very well.
so the only one we didn't get was Why Did I Get Married To? And we never got
Because
it.
Tyler Perry movies never come to cinemas here.
And we just,
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
guys, that's this week's episode. Thank you
Lovely.
so much